Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be reviewing Red, Taylor's Version by Taylor Swift. This is the second of 6 albums she has released a re-record version of. I was hyped about this album as it is one of my favorites of hers. As for Fearless, Taylor's Version, which was released back in April, I was ready for the previously unreleased tracks. Here on Red, Taylor's Version, we get 9 previously unreleased tracks, with one of them being a 10-minute version of All Too Well, which many people were waiting for. I will try to focus more on the previously unreleased tracks, but I will also touch on the other tracks from the original album as well. Anyways, let's get into it, as I've made, this introduction a little lengthier than usual. Again, this is the second re-recorded album from Taylor. This time, it is of her 4th studio album, Red, which was originally released in October 2012. Red, Taylor's Version was released last week on November 12th, 2021. This is a lengthy album, but I thought was enjoyable as well. It consists of 30 tracks and has a runtime of about 2 hours and 10 minutes. Hence why I didn't do a live reaction stream to this album. There is only one single at the time of this recording, and it is I Bet You Think About Me, which features Chris Stapleton. This album was produced by Swift herself, along with Christopher Rowe. Other producers include Jack Antonoff, who has previously worked with Taylor in some of her more recent albums, Tim Blacksmith, and Danny D, while there are some producers from the original album as well who came back to help produce this re-record version. There are 4 guest features. Phoebe Bridgers and Chris Stapleton hop on 2 of the previously unreleased tracks, while Gary Lightbody and Ed Sheeran come back to re-record their original verses from the original album, and Ed also hops on another track, which is yet another one of the previously unreleased tracks. I'll hit on it again, as I've talked about it a little in the past, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible so the video isn't too lengthy. Anyways, Swift released her 6 studio albums under Big Machine Records between 2006 and 2017. In 2018, her contract with the label expired, so she withdrew and signed a new deal with Republic Records, which in turn secured her the rights to own the masters of the new music she will release. Then, this next part, I'll try to sum up quickly too. In 2019, Scooter Braun and his company acquired Big Machine Records, so her first 6 studio albums were now owned by him and his business. In August of the same year, Swift denounced his purchase and announced she will be re-recording her first 6 studio albums, as she would be able to obtain the rights from, and she began recording in November 2020, so practically a year ago from this release. Just as the original album, this album is a pop-driven album, as it was originally classified as a country album when it was released in 2012. It includes electronic elements, along with country, synth pop, and arena rock. Now, with all of this, let's hop into some of the tracks. Again, I will focus a little more on the tracks released from the vault, as they're called, and I'll hit on a little bit of the tracks from the original album as well. I'll start off with I Bet You Think About Me. This track features Chris Stapleton. I thought it was a solid track. This is one of my favorites off here, since it's one of the more country tracks. I did enjoy vocals from both. Lyrically, I thought it was about just thinking about someone and all of the things they have done, good or bad. Run is another previously unreleased track. Ed Sheeran makes his second appearance on this track. I thought was enjoyable as well. It was another duet from them both. Lyrically, I thought was just escaping reality and, just to forget about everything that is currently happening or has happened. Last one I will hit on is All Too Well 10-minute version. I thought it was amazing in a way. I never thought she would be able to pull off a 10-minute trick, but turns out I was wrong. It does contain some of the original lyrics from the original cut of the song, and it adds something brand new to it. Again, as the original track, I loved the little story that was in it and the imagery used throughout. With those few tracks I wanted to hit on that were from the vault, I'll hit on a few more from the original album. I really wish I could hit on all 9 tracks from the vault, but again, due to time links, I don't want this video to be too lengthy, so you guys get bored and whatnot. Everything Has Changed features Ed Sheeran, and this is his first appearance on the album. It was a decent re-recording. I thought it was interesting that Ed re-recorded his verse as well, along with duet parts. It was nice both lyrically and instrumentally, saying, so much has changed as time went on. I Knew You Were Trouble is one of the more pop-influenced tracks here on the album, as again I have mentioned in Red, the original album, for its review. Overall, it was kind of a decent re-recording. Yes, her voice has matured since 2012, but it was nice seeing her reach those high notes during this track. And now I will hit on the title track to close us out. Red was a nice re-recording. It is one of my favorites off this album. Lyrically, it touches on what, feelings relate to what colors and what this relationship feels like. Some of my favorite tracks off this album include All Too Well, the 10-minute version, not to mention the original version as well, Everything Has Changed, featuring Ed Sheeran, and I Knew You Were Trouble. If I had to include one of the tracks from the vault, I would say I Bet You Think About Me, featuring Chris Stapleton, is one of my favorites off the album, as well as one of my favorites of the tracks released from the vault. I thought this was a great re-recording of the album, and may be even better than the original album itself. Today, I will be giving this album a 4.5 out of 5. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. On Friday, I will be reviewing No Strings Attached by NSYNC. And on Saturday, I will be reviewing An Evening with Silk Sonic by Silk Sonic, which is the duo of Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak.